Fire for your mind. Kosher Clinician. Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
Type of women as passive victims. Research shows that narcissistic women can be physically violent towards their partners, often blaming it on self-defense to gain sympathy. Narcissistic women may feign victimhood to gain power and control, making threats of false abuse allegations, withholding intimacy, and manipulating their children against their partner. Women with vulnerable narcissism may devalue others and exhibit entitlement rage, lashing out when they don't get what they perceive they deserve. While narcissistic traits are often associated with men, research indicates that narcissistic women may use their feminine identity to their advantage, exploiting societal expectations of nurturing and passivity.
The Hoe to Jesus pipeline is crazy. The Hoe to Jesus pipeline is crazy. And where else are you going to go? Come to Jesus. If you tried everything, if you've had every sexual partner and you're still not satisfied, come to Jesus. And don't let no one shame you from coming to the feet of the Father for him to redeem you and to restore you and to make you brand new. Your wholeness can be deleted by the blood. Okay? By the blood. There's nothing that the blood won't cover. The blood has you covered. But also, go and sin no more.
Don't let anybody make you feel bad about wanting to change. I've seen a lot of talk on this app about the Hoe to Jesus pipeline and, oh, that Hoe to Jesus pipeline is crazy. But at the end of the day, Jesus loved hoes. And hoes love Jesus. I used to be one. I love the Lord. I love the Lord because of the things that he's done for me. I feel like you got to suffer a little bit to really understand what God can do for you. You know, and for somebody who used to formerly be out in the streets, don't let anybody make you feel bad for changing. You reserve the right to change. And yeah, I'm trying to make it sound all good and Christian and clean. I just think it's ridiculous. Don't anybody want to be sexy red forever. You don't want to be out in the streets forever. You don't want guys to be using you for sex forever and being okay with casual sex because it's cool. Like, you are allowed to change. If you're a hoe and you don't want to be a hoe anymore, that's great news. Jesus is waiting for you with his...
I'm not your typical first lady. This first lady fight. And if I catch you in the street, I warned you. I warned you. I'm a Brooklyn chick. That'll never change. I'm just an anointed Brooklyn chick. And I'm coming for that ass.
Come on out to Laughs for Lupus Comedy Night, May 20th in Riviera Beach, Florida.
35 guys.
And you fuck 3 niggas in one night. But you only fuck
35 total?
35 total.
So the other 32 was spread out.
35 bodies is a lot for a woman.
Is it?
I kind of feel like it's a lot for a woman.
I don't think.
Brittany Rayner says she got 35.
That's not even a high body count. To 20-year-olds, and even to my 20-year-old self, I hate how I allowed myself to just be like used up by men. And that came from a lack of self-worth. I did not understand my value that I was born with. I didn't. And I gave, again, people look at sex differently, but sex is spiritual unification. When I think about my list, it's repulsive because they didn't deserve it. But that was an outcome of me discounting my worth. And it's disgusting. I hate even having that spiritual tie in any type of way. But yeah, I would absolutely change sexually how I move around. And not even necessarily because of like the societal outcome. It's more so from my self-worth.
Like, how it makes you like feel.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good knowing that you gave a sacred part of you to a man that looked at sex with you as taking a piss.
Money terribly. That's why she's in California courts asking for $35,000 from PJ Washington. That's a month, by the way. See, Brittany didn't stay in Texas. She went over to California. Why? Because Texas has a cap on how much you can get monthly. California does not. That's why the first thing gold diggers normally do after getting a baller is move to California. But here's the problem. We already know she's going to say she doesn't make enough money to survive with her and the one child, and that the bills are just too high. Kind of like her, she thinks that any judge is about to give her roughly $420,000 a year. To do what? Go play in a corner while you give the rapper of the month gawk gawk? Not to mention, PJ's married. Like actually married, has been for 2 years now. And considering he makes quite a bit more money due to this new contract, which I'm sure has nothing to do with her asking for more money, there's a pretty high likelihood that if PJ asks for full custody, they might just give it to him. Brittany could really be playing directly into his hand right now. Because if you go into a courtroom and say, hey, I can't...
Is the power of the gospel. Former adult film actress Jasmine Cashmere says she left that life behind, accepted Jesus Christ, and now serving in ministry. No matter what your past looks like, God's grace is greater than your mistakes. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Now, if God can transform her life, he can transform yours too. Never believe you're too far gone for Jesus. His mercy is still reaching people today.
It's interesting to me that these are the same women shouting from the rooftops when they're our age, that they feel invisible, that it's hard, that where are all the good men, that being single is so sad and depressing. So this is the wisdom, young ladies, if you're willing to listen. When you get older, you will be so grateful to not have to do the last third of life by yourself.
You know, Paco, winter is coming. I remember a time where most women had husbands, and Kevin Samuels talked about a time called winter. And you know, winter not only symbolizes the seasons that are about to come, but winter symbolizes a stage in life. When you look at some of your, yes ma'am, go ahead. Yes ma'am, go ahead.
I am in the storm. Okay? I got a part-time job. I'm a tax expert, so I only work during tax season. I'm 60 years old. I don't have retirement. My family is spread across the country. And I don't have a strong black man who I love black men in my life. I'm not mad. I know my time is past.
Wow.
But I am in the winter.
Wow.
I'm in the storm.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, dear. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like there was a time when you had a viable black man, but you forfeited that by sometime bad choices?
1,000% correct.
Oh my God.
I was married.
Right.
I was fine as hell. And I thought that I was black girl magic.
Wow.
So that's why I know the death mentality. And I thought that I was.
Go ahead, keep talking. You said you thought you were black girl magic. Keep talking, Paco.
Oh, but life and reality woke me up.
So it sounds
nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about
He's a
certain
loser.
other female. Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother night.
You can't
delete your.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more.
I said I like women. Fire. Kosher clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
All right, guys, let's get into it. Guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to my man, the International Quiet Storm, man. Man, that's one of my dogs. He's been in the trenches with me for the last 5 years. I appreciate it. Thank you for the $20 holler. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm, man. He's a great young man. Got nothing but love and respect for him. We'll always have respect for him, man. He about to show up. But the next time I come to California, man, you about to show up. International Quiet Storm. I'm having fun, man. But thank you, International Quiet Storm, for that 20. And he says, supporting the man that keeps it kosher, not because he's 6'6" with shoes on. That ain't keeping the kosher, man. Because I'm really 6'5", or about 6'4" and 3/8 without the shoes on. I'm 6'6". So when I put them shoes on, Quiet Storm makes me kosher, man. And also, listen, guys, if you haven't, I'm going to put my merch online, guys. Here's the shirt, Chicken Georgia State University. Get your Chicken Georgia State University t-shirt. I've been busy, guys. I've been so busy working and dealing with some other things. But get your Chicken Georgia State University t-shirt, guys. If you haven't got it, go ahead and get your Chicken Georgia State University. See, so you guys can see it to me. I got it with the Duke blue colors, man. Chicken Georgia State, because we know nothing good comes out of Chicken Georgia State. But liberalism, nonsense, arrogance, and also a bunch of nonsense. So get your Chicken Georgia State University t-shirt, guys. Good quality t-shirt. You got the community side, the gynocracy that flaunts their degrees over men. But get your Chicken Georgia State University t-shirt, guys. But anyway, guys, I've been gone for about 2 weeks, man. I've been tired, man. I've been working. I've been extremely tired. And I had to take a break from YouTube, man. I got some plans coming up for the channel in the future. I'm going to do some innovative things. But if you guys know, streaming takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time. And I haven't had time to do this stuff, man. It takes a lot of time to be the content creator, especially if you're streaming. But I want to get into this, guys, because the premise of redemption is that I can be a 304, and because I claim Jesus, then all my sins are washed away. And listen, there's some truth to that, but some nuance to it. Jesus can save a whore. Mary Magdalene was a whore. She was a prostitute, and Jesus saved her. He saved her and redeemed her. But here's the problem with that: the scripture also say, make sure you understand that God is not mocked. What a man soweth, that what he shall also reap. And so, what happens many times to these women that are claiming God, they use Jesus as a scapegoat to not have to deal with their past. And we know and understand that your past matters. The only time your past don't matter, if that woman come to you and she has a level of humility, and she said, listen, Quiet Storm, I've been with 30 guys, like Brittany Renner. And if Quiet Storm say I can accept your past, then, which I don't advise that. What man in his right mind would do that? But if she'll be honest with it, and if it doesn't go against his value system, then, he would be the fool to make that woman his wife. I would never do it. And I wouldn't advise anybody else to deal with a woman with that kind of baggage. That's a lot of baggage. And most masculine men don't want to have the thought of knowing that a bunch of men bounced on their women, because that's just the price of sin. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person. It doesn't mean that you haven't changed, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of these women have not changed. Listen, when you've been doing the amount of heavy pounding like Brittany Renner or Jasmine Cashmere or even Amber Rose have, it's hard to change that lifestyle because it's not just physical and chemically induced. It's also spiritual. It is spiritual. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But what they do, they scapegoat Jesus, and they use Jesus as an ego defense mechanism to get a sucker to put a ring on their finger and make them feel special again. But like my man said, you can't delete the ski. Your soul is saved, but your box is still a sinner. Your box is still a sinner standing in the need of prayer. Your box is still a sinner. And ain't nothing a man can do about that, because once it's done, it's done. That box has been stained. It's been DNA stained. And there ain't nothing that no man can do about that. And only foolish men with low values and low self-esteem take those kind of women or take those women serious for wives. No man want a woman that's been with that amount of women for his wife, because men are not wired for that way. And that's what liberalism has done. It's told women they can do what they can, give their bodies away for free, devalue themselves in the name of liberation. And then afterwards, they can use Jesus as a scapegoat to come back and say, Jesus forgave me. Yeah, Jesus forgave you. But if you lied to that man about your past, you still a sinner. And then on top of that too, you can't delete your past. So there's nothing you can do about that. That's the consequences of liberation, the consequences of liberalism. Because I've said before in the past, there was no woman greater than the American black woman at some point in the past. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad, man. He said they said the sound good in the car. Okay, good. I'm glad, man. Quiet Storm said the video is crisp and the audio is clear. Let's get it, no doubt. Okay, I'm glad, guys. I'm glad. Well, listen, I got to get the merch. I got to get it. Yeah, man. I just been busy, man. I've been so busy sowing seed, man. I just had to take a break from it, man. It's being a content creator is draining, man. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's a lot of work. So I'm going to get this merch up soon, guys. But listen, this is Chicken George State University. Get your Chicken George State University t-shirt where delusion, nonsense, and entitlement reign supreme. Delusion, entitlement, and nonsense reign supreme. But get your Chicken George State University t-shirt merch. I'm gonna get it out at some point. But and shout out to my man J3. He said that they teach fiddling at Chicken George State University. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, my Carolina Hurricanes. 2-time national champs. 2006 and 2026, 2 years later, 20 years later, we are NHL champs here in the Tar Heel State, the greatest state in the union, guys. It's the greatest state in the union. There ain't no state greater than North Carolina. We're the greatest state in the union. So, but once again, guys, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Shout out to my man James Dunlap also for liking the video. But let's get into it, guys, because there's a lot of consternation about women reconciling their lives and being born again. And once again, I'm not against that. I'm not against a woman reconciling herself, but you can't expect to get no top tier man if you've been ran through. The man's brain don't work that way. It don't mean that you're not a decent person, as I said before in the past. Because let me ask you guys a question. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll, guys, because there are a lot of women that say it's in their past and God forgave them. But let me ask you guys a question. Could Andrew Caldwell claim Jesus? Could Andrew Caldwell claim Jesus, guys, after all the men he been with? Do you think if Andrew Caldwell told a woman, he said, it's in my past, Jesus forgave me for messing with all the men's, and my soul is saved now. And because my soul is saved and Jesus forgave me for messing with all them men's, not men, but men's with a Z on the end, I deserve a good woman. Do you think a woman, a feminine woman, would give Andrew Caldwell a chance? I want you guys to hit one. Because I know and you know there ain't no woman in her right mind gonna give Andrew Caldwell a chance. There you go, Yusef Broussard. You're right there. Forgiveness, but you still have consequences. Yes, I said that earlier. Right, 100%. Yeah, God forgave you, but you were the one busting it wide open on video. You were the one that gave your body to 35 men. You slept with a bunch of men. Then you want hardworking men that made good choices to come and put a ring on your finger. 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna be satisfied. And even women that change their lives, it takes a lot of fasting and praying to keep their lives intact because it's spiritual. It's spiritual. You're dealing with the flesh. And even if God forgave you, it's still a lot of work. You gotta be prayed up, you gotta fast, you gotta pray. You need therapy. Because I promise you guys, if Andrew Caldwell did what he did and say he's not gay no more, he's delivered, ain't no woman gonna mess with Andrew Caldwell.
Not gay no more. I am delivered.
They're not gonna give Andrew Caldwell a chance. If Andrew Caldwell say I'm not gay no more, I'm delivered.
Not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women.
Andrew Caldwell said, I went from the men's to Jesus pipeline. If Andrew Caldwell said, I went from the men's to Jesus pipeline, no feminine woman gonna take Andrew Caldwell serious. And she's gonna judge him for his past. And she has a right to judge him. I didn't say condemn it. There's a judgment of condemnation. But she does have a right to judge him based on her values. Only in America are men, white or black, not allowed to have values. Most masculine men don't want no woman that's been ran through. I don't know why. That's how we're wired, Just like a woman don't like to have a thought of her man being penetrated. A man don't like to have a thought of his woman being penetrated because he can't value it. Now, especially if he's a masculine man that got values. But if you didn't hear it, guys, you heard it from me first. Anybody else talking about it, they got it from me. I call it part of what this woman is saying too, the Holy Jesus pipeline. They think they can have their fun, have copious amounts of sex, and then all of a sudden, they singing that song, "Oh Happy Days," when Jesus washed my sins away. And I'm not against forgiveness. I'm not against restitution. I'm not against God saving a person. But your past matters. The only time your past don't matter if the man you're dealing with can forgive you for your past. That's the only time it don't matter. But in general, man, your past matters. And men need to start having standards, and shame need to come back. And men need to say, if you made bad choices with your body, there's a consequence. You're not going to have your fun and think you will come back and I'm going to put a ring on your finger and make you feel special. That ain't going to happen. That's not even realistic. No man can get that kind of redemption and forgiveness, and neither can you. The only time that should work is if you go to that man and you're honest with him, you tell that man the truth.
Pipeline is crazy. And where else are you going to go? Come to Jesus. If you tried everything, if you've had every sexual partner and you're still not satisfied, come to Jesus. And don't let no one shame you from coming to the feet of the Father for him to redeem you and to restore you and to make you brand new. Your wholeness can be deleted.
And this silly woman calls herself the ratchet Christian. Who calls himself the ratchet Christian? That's why I told you guys a lot of times these women haven't been changed. Let me show you guys something. Let me show you guys something. When you had that amount of DNA in your body, it takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of prayer. It takes a lot of deliverance. It takes a lot of deliverance. A lot of these women need to go into deliverance ministry because that kind of psychological damage and physiological damage is hard to erase unless they old, tired 304s. They old and tired. And once they get old and tired, they want to simp to put a ring on the finger. And make them feel special like the Statue of Liberty. Talking about bring me your tithe and bring me your poor. That vagina is tired. It's real tired. That vagina is standing in need of prayer. And after all that heavy pounding, man, they want a man to come put a ring on their finger, make them feel special. But then when you think about all the men they had and all the men that used their bodies and all the men that put all that DNA in them, I mean, a lot of DNA, they got a lot of DNA. They want you to come back and talk about, it's in my past. No, sweetie, it doesn't work that way. I'm not saying that God can't forgive you. And I'm not saying that a sucker won't fall for you, because some suckers will fall for it. I could never do it. I can't take you serious with my wife if you've been with a lot of men. I just can't, and I'm not. It don't mean you're not a good person, but you just don't qualify to be my woman. Because I don't want to be going behind a bunch of other men. I just don't. That's nasty to me. And and then on top of that, some of these women still think they deserve top tier men. And so they got all that DNA in them. They had all their fun in their 20s. They got brainwashed and tricked into giving their value away. And when it's time to get married, you can't get the same pleasures that Shermite, Day Day, and Man Man got.
If all the raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops, oh, what a rain that would be. Standing outside with my mouth open wide. If all the raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops, oh, what a rain that would be. Come on.
She just wants you for security and protection and maintenance, unless you're a man that she's really attracted to. But if you're just an average guy, you're just a refill, man. She ain't taking you serious. She's gonna be bored with you at some point, but divorce you and take all your money and take all your retirement. but that's what men gotta deal with, man. The Holy Jesus pipe. That's what men gotta deal with. They gotta deal with that now, man. They gotta deal with it. And they don't expect you to say nothing.
By the blood, okay? By the blood. There's nothing that the blood won't cover. The blood has you covered. But also, go and sin no more.
Don't let anybody make you feel bad about wanting to change. I've seen a lot of talk on this app about the hoe to Jesus pipeline and, oh, that hoe to Jesus pipeline is crazy. But at the end of the day, Jesus loved hoes. And hoes love Jesus. I used to be one. I love the Lord. I love the Lord because of the things that he's done for me. I feel like you got to suffer a little bit to really understand what God can do for you, and for somebody who used to formerly be out in the streets, don't let anybody make you feel bad for changing. You reserve the right to change. And yeah, I'm trying to make it sound all good and Christian and clean. I just think it's ridiculous. Don't anybody want to be sexy red forever. You don't want to be out in the streets forever. You don't want guys to be using you for sex forever.
Let me ask you guys something. Can you imagine if you go out, if you good men go out, you make good choices your whole life, and you go out, you go somewhere and somebody look at you and they laughing at you, man. They say, they say, that's you? And you say, what do you mean that's me? You going to the store, you going to the mall. I'm in California. I see the International Quiet Storm. You got some chick on his arm, and somebody, I said, Quiet Storm, that's you? I mean, what are you talking about, man? Oh man, yeah, man. Fresno State, I dug into them guts, man, back in the past, man. And that's why I'm telling men, you got to keep the bar high. You got to raise the bar high. Most women have been to Chicken George State University. Chicken George State symbolizes nonsense. It symbolizes nonsense. It symbolizes liberalism. It symbolizes all the things that are not consistent with godliness. And these are the type of women that want you to come back and put a ring on their finger and make them feel special after they gave all their virtue away. they turn the angry birds. They turn the angry birds. They gave all their virtue away. Now they're angry birds. They want you to put a ring on their finger. They want you to make them feel special. They don't want you to judge them for their past, not understanding that all people judge. You have a right to judge a person for their past. When you go to the doctor wants to know your medical past. When you go to the university want to know your academic past. When you go to the bank want to know your financial past. When you go to the church want to know about your spiritual past. But the most important thing in the world, which is family and a relationship, a man not supposed to ask because it's in the past. You see how crazy that is? You see the cognitive distortions of minimization behind that and the ego defense mechanism called scapegoatism. That's scapegoating Jesus. They use Jesus as a scapegoat because they don't want nobody to ask about their past. And they're angry birds and they want a man to love them and see them as special. And you're not special, man. Your soul is saved. You're going to heaven. You die tonight, you're going to be in the arms of Jesus. But there's still a price to pay for sin. As I said before, the scripture said, be careful because God is not mocked. What a man soweth, that's what he's going to also reap.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski.
You can't delete the skeet once it's done. The damage is already done, man. You can't go back in your past and undo your past. The damage is done. Shout out to my man, Real Bravado Network. Shout out to that good brother in the house. He said that the average American woman, black woman, has between 70 to 100 bodies. And I believe that before the age of 35, every black woman out there is a SLUT bucket. A slur bucket. And listen, I'm gonna prove Real Bravado right. Real Bravado, I think he's on to something. I'm gonna show you guys a clip that verifies his point. This is how bad it is, guys. Let me tell you something. The most dangerous woman in the world is a conservative, can be. I'm not saying all. Let me be real clear. But them traditional conservative women a lot of times are worse than they're worse than the so-called liberals, because you know what you're getting with the libertards. You know what you're getting with them. The only time with the liberals that's different is that when they act like they are helping you and they run you down behind your back. Malcolm X said about the liberal, he said that the liberal is more dangerous than the conservative man or the conservative woman to some degrees in the sense of victimhood. Because at least the redneck that don't like you, that's conservative, he'll tell you to your face. But the liberal is like a fox. They play games, they act like they're for you, but they see you as the victim. But then on the flip side, the 304, like Amber Rose and Brittany Renner, they tell you that they're 304s and ran through. But now you got these women now that are two-faced. They're two-faced. They play, they act like they're conservative. Like Nicki Minaj now is a conservative. Brittany Renner, Amber Rose is a conservative. And they could be conservative in their values, but now all of a sudden they're trying to act like they're conservative women. They're trying to redeem themselves after all that semen they had and all that DNA they had in them over a span of time. But no man in his right mind want a DNA receptacle for his wife. A man just don't. We're gonna stop lying to these women, telling them that once they go to church they can use Jesus as a scapegoat. Because guess what? If a man said he was with men before in the past, and God forgave him for sleeping with 20 men, most black women ain't gonna take that man serious with no husband, and they will be well within their right. But when it comes down to men can't have standards. And I'm going to prove Real Bravado right. I think he's on to something. Shout out to Real Bravado for that $2 super chat. Quiet Storm said, please climb up. I got a 304 on my arm. Yeah. I say these Gen Z chicks have at least 100 bodies by the time they're 21. Yeah, your past will definitely affect your option, but they don't believe it. They think that just because they waved the Jesus wand, I call that magical thinking, which is tied to delusion. They think because they waved the Jesus wand, that all their past is gone away. All the fun they had, giving their bodies to different men, they think all of a sudden now it's a man supposed to see them as special, and a man supposed to be 100% provider and pay all bills, which no fool in his right mind would do that in this economy. I'm not paying all bills. The only woman to get all bills paid for, if I could afford it, would be a virgin wife, ready, no kids, emotional regulation, and she understood her assignment. And even then, it would be hard to do. But I could do it, but I'm not doing it. I'm not paying all bills. Why would I pay all bills for something that's being used? Something that's used, something that got kids by other men. And a lot of these women like Lisa Ray and Biblical Fox, they're old women. They're old women. But I'm going to pay full price for something old? I just might as well keep my money and stay single. I'm not paying full price for something that's old and used.
And being okay with casual sex because it's cool. Like, you are allowed to change. If you're a hoe and you don't want to be a hoe anymore, that's great news. Jesus is waiting for you with his...
I'm not your typical first lady. This first lady fight. And if I catch you in the street, I warned you. I warned you. I'm a Brooklyn chick. That'll never change. I'm just an anointed Brooklyn chick.
And we're going to talk about this hyena on tomorrow, guys. We're going to talk about this wild hyena on tomorrow. But a lot of these guys, women, guys are narcissistic, man. They have narcissistic traits. If they're not bona fide narcissists, they definitely got the traits. They have entitlement complexes. They don't have any self-awareness. They don't have any self-awareness.
Victims. Research shows that narcissistic women can be physically violent towards their partners, often blaming it on self-defense to gain sympathy. Narcissistic women may feign victimhood to gain power and control, making threats of false abuse allegations, withholding intimacy, and manipulating their children against their partner. Women with vulnerable narcissism may devalue others and exhibit entitlement rage, lashing out when they don't get what they perceive they deserve. While narcissistic traits are often associated with men, research indicates that narcissistic women may use their feminine identity to their advantage, exploiting societal expectations of nurturing and passivity.
Yes, sir. So once again, the most dangerous woman in the world is the conservative woman. Those conservative women are dangerous. We call them trad cons, traditional conservative, but I call them traditional cons because many times they still have underlying feminist ideologies. They just mask it because even them, they don't want to give up power. Paul Edom said something, I'm going to review his channel on tomorrow, something about even in the church now, the church won't speak up about order and these women being pastors over men. It's not biblical. That's why men don't go to church, because there's no structure no more. There's no order. Most church now is not but a bunch of women, a bunch of effeminate men, or weak men that are simps, and a bunch of children. And that's why masculine men don't go to church. Ain't no masculine man gonna be in that nonsense. I know I'm not. I'm not gonna be sitting in no church where a woman telling preaching and laying hands on me. That's out of order. Man was the first fruit of God's creation. Shout out to my man, Real Bravado Network. He said, I met a man who said he's struggling with loving his biological son because his son has the face of his wife oh my goodness, wife ex-boyfriend. He said the doctor called it cross DNA imprinting. Yeah, it's called microchimerism. And you know what, Real Bravado, that's nasty, man. Can you imagine, your granddaddy and your great-granddaddy back in the day got virginal women, or they had a low body count, no more than maybe one or two. And now, can you imagine marrying somebody and you put a ring on her finger, and every time you look at that kid reminds you of the fact that man scored and conquered your woman. Men struggle with that because sex is spiritual, but also it's very primal for a man to protect his woman. But these 304s to come back at the end of life from the Holy Jesus pipeline, talking about Jesus forgave them and singing that song, Oh Happy Days, when Jesus washed my whole sins away. And once again, I'm not saying that God can't forgive a woman. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying they won't go to heaven. But I'm going to prove to you guys on tonight that many times it's just a mirage. The traditional conservative woman and the Holy Jesus pipeline, they're all one and the same. A lot of these women talk about conservatism and being conservative women, and all of a sudden they're conservative and their family. They still have feminist talking points. They still don't submit to their husbands in leadership. They still want a partner. They still think they're better than a man. They still think because of their education they're better than average men. And many of them guys, they didn't go to no elite school. Many of them went to Chicken George State University, where liberalism and delusion is at an all-time high. They all went to Chicken George State University, man. Chicken George State, that's where they went. Chicken George State University. A lot of them went to Chicken George State. So get your Chicken George State University t-shirt, guys, at some point. But that's what we're dealing with now. That's what we've been dealing with. That's what we are dealing with. And that's what we have been dealing with. When you deal with a woman, guys, that have been with a lot of men, once again, that woman is in need of not only intensive counseling and therapy, but many times she's also in need of deliverance, because she's been, you know, when a person gives their body to somebody, men or women, you can allow spirits to come into your body. And I'm going to show you what the book said. What the book says about women that, or men or anybody that's been caught up in that kind of activity. Hold tight. Let me show you guys something. I got to pull it up. But that's a bad thing, man, to know that your woman has been imprinted. She's been imprinted by another man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So this is what happens, guys, a lot of times. When you're dealing with a woman like Amber Rose, like Brittany Renner, and also like Jasmine Cashmere, they're two-faced because they're not only struggling with their identity, but they are two-faced a lot of times because they have a hidden agenda. Now, I'm not saying that, once again, I'm not going to judge their heart and say they're not sincere. I know Brittany Renner wasn't sincere because her actions speak louder than words. And Amber Rose too. But even Jasmine Cashmere, she's out of order. I'm going to prove my point in a minute. But look what the scripture said about women that are caught up in sexual immorality. The scripture said, when an unclean spirit leaves a man, it wanders through arid regions seeking rest. Finding none, it returns to that person, and the inner self is empty, swept, and tidy. It brings 7 more wicked spirits, leaving the individual worse off. Look at how Brittany Renner went from being a 304 to a Muslim. Now she's back to whoring again, and probably worse than she was before she left. There's no different than Jasmine Cashmere calling herself a pastor. Once again, we know that women cannot be pastors over men. We know that women cannot be bishops. Women can teach, they can evangelize, but there's order. Now, they get mad at me, but I didn't write the Bible. It was in the book. The book said, I didn't say it, it's in the book. And so what happens, the unclean spirit leaves a man or woman. It wanders in arid regions seeking rest, but finds none. If it returns to that person, if that person in itself is empty, swept, and tired, meaning that God's spirit is not there, empty of his presence, swept, sin, outwardly clean, but inwardly without righteousness, not filled of true prayer, worship, and the word. That's why I said most of these women like Amber Rose and Brittany Renner, even Jasmine Cashmere should not be leading anybody, because she needs to be properly discipled. And even if she is born again, she needs to be set down and she needs to grow before she calls herself a pastor. But once again, she ain't a pastor, because a woman can't be a pastor over men. She cannot be a bishop over men. And the problem with a lot of these women now, they think that their gifts supersede God's order. That's what happened to Lucifer. Lucifer thought that his gifts superseded God's order, and it brings forth destruction and despair. There's a scripture in the Bible that says when the men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over. And that's what you're seeing now in these churches. The men are not leading anymore because a lot of the men there are very weak. And so it brings back 7 more wicked spirits, leaving the individual worse off than before. Matthew 12:43 and 45. So you're dealing with a lot of these women now. They have spirits in them. Not only do they have spirits in them, they got a lot of DNA in their brain and in their body, in their bone marrow. You can see that DNA floating in their eyes. It's called the DNA. It's called the thousand penis stare. And the reason why it's so dangerous, because a lot of women assume that they could do it. They assume that they could sleep around like men and give their bodies away, and that their value will remain the same. They thought because they had their doctorate or they went to Chicken George State University. They thought because they had their bachelor's and their master's that equated to them being wholesome women that men want to be proud of and call their wives. But it doesn't matter. Your social market value does not equate to your sexual market value. Yeah, you got your doctorate, you got a house, you got cars, you got prestige. Men don't care about that. I know I don't care about it. But I do need to know what them bodies look like. I do need to know if you're a righteous woman. What man want to be going out in town? He going out in town. He riding around, and he goes to homecoming. Men laughing at him because they know that his woman's been ran through. But they use Jesus as a scapegoat to justify their whorish ways. And 9 times out of 10 now, because most churches are weak, most churches don't preach the gospel anymore. Most churches now don't have any men in the church leading. And a lot of the women need deliverance. They tend to be even worse. That's why Brittany Renner can never be back at the level. Brittany Renner, it's going to take a lot of prayer and warfare to cast them demons out of Brittany Renner. And I would even argue that Jasmine Cashmere probably still dealing with demons. When you take that kind of pounding over years, even if God forgive you, there's still a sin stain on you. It's something about that stain of sin. Yeah, your soul has been washed clean, and yes, you might be on your way to heaven. But a lot of these women are not but charlatans, guys. And imagine the simp that married Jasmine. Can you imagine you married a woman that was a 304 in porn, and every man has seen your wife's cat. Every man has seen your wife being pounded out by multiple men. And you being the fool that you are, with no dignity, because a lot of black men don't have no dignity. They've been raised by the moms. You've seen your wife be, what man in his right mind, if he's a masculine man, can see his woman been ran through and other men beating her brakes out and choking her out and doing all kinds of nasty things to her on corn and not be repulsed? What kind of man would feel, what kind of man in his right mind would know that at some point where his children and daughters are raised, they can see their mama on X videos or pornographic videos, porn videos? What man in his right mind wouldn't accept that? But they didn't, because Jesus forgave them for their sins. They're supposed to get a pass. No, sweetie, it doesn't work that way. Your soul is saved. Now, your soul is saved. I agree with that. You might be on your way to heaven, but that box is a sinner. That box is still a sinner because you cannot delete the skeet. You can't delete the skeet. Shout out to my man Top Gun in the house. Shout out to the brother, the OG Top Gun. I ain't forgot you, man. I'm gonna hit you up, man. Shout out to my man Top Gun. But that's what happens, guys. They have their fun, and then after they have all the fun, they want to come back and think they're supposed to hit a jumper at the buzzer, and some sucker should put a ring on their finger and make them feel special, and say my past is my past and only God can judge. No, sweetie, I can judge you for your past too. I can judge you based on my standards as a man. If I look at your past and say that you had too many hot dogs, I can say, well, you just don't qualify for my wife. Because let me tell you, men, something. Let me tell you, men, something. She don't want you to judge her past, but she's going to judge your future. Women can always judge your future as a man. A woman, because she's hypergamous by nature, is going to judge a man's financial past. If you tell a woman right now that you're content with making $20 an hour, she's not going to be with you. And she's going to say you don't qualify for a husband because she needs a man that's going to, if he's stuck at 20, she wants to be making 40 or 50 at some point. That's just how women are wired. But when men say, I don't want a woman that's been plowshared, that's been ran through, then all of a sudden you're judging me. You see how crazy that is? They can judge you based on your financial standings, but you can't judge her based on her sexual past. So once again, a man should never pay all bills in this country. Don't you listen to no sucker or no simp talking about paying all bills, because you're not getting none quality. And paying all bills is not part of your masculinity. Your masculinity is not defined by you paying all bills. It's not because you can't pay all bills, and I could pay all bills, but I'm not paying all bills, and neither should you, especially in this economy. I'm not working like a dog for something that's been ran through, because that was tied to the romantic ethos. If I'm the leader in my home, we're going to bring that money together and look at how to use that money for our family. But I'm not paying. I'm not paying all bills for something that's used. I'm just not going to. I'm not impressed. You've been with a lot of men or a couple of men. You ain't getting all bills paid for. Only virgins, wife ready, emotional regulation. Those women, in my opinion, qualify for all bills paid for. If a man can afford to do it. If he got resources and money, he can do it. If he can do it, then do it. Those women qualify. But the typical average American woman pay all bills. Child, please. Ain't nobody paying for all no bills for nothing used. You ran through. And even if you ain't ran through, you had your share of men. You ain't special. Ain't nothing special about you. There's nothing special about you. You think I'm gonna work like a dog to pay for something that's been used up? My granddaddy got a virgin. My daddy got a virgin. Most men back then got virgins. And they didn't mind paying all bills because that's when women were ladies. We keep calling women ladies now. You're not a lady. Ladies come with a quality about themselves. They have a je ne sais quoi about themselves. Right, Quiet Storm. Can you imagine tongue kissing Brittany Renner or Jasmine Cashmere? Some sucker simp will kiss half the basketball team in the corner. Right. Can you imagine? Jasmine Cashmere gonna be in the book of Elijah, man. She said, "My lips are unclean; these unclean lips." What man in his right mind want to see something like that as special? And these chicks come up and try to shame you and try to flip it now. These traditional conservative women, after they gave all their virtue away, now they want to come back and do what I call a whole reset, because they expect you to look past their past and God forgave them, and they try to shame you into a bad relationship. This is what Mag is saying. Hold tight.
Interesting to me that these are the same women shouting from the rooftops when they're our age that they feel invisible, that it's hard, that where are all the good men, that being single is so sad and depressing. So this is the wisdom, young ladies, if you're willing to listen. When you get older, you will be so grateful to not have to do the last third of life by yourself.
Paco, winter is coming. I remember a time where most women had husbands, and Kevin Samuels talked about a time called winter. And winter not only symbolizes the seasons that are about to come, but winter symbolizes a stage in life. When you look at some of your, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Right,
yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm, go ahead.
I am in the storm. Okay. I got a part-time job. I'm a tax expert, so I only work during tax season. Mm-hmm. I'm 60 years old. I don't have retirement. My family is spread across the country. Yes, and I don't have a strong black man who I love black men in my life. I'm not mad. I know my time is past. Wow. But I am in the winter. Wow. I'm in the storm.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, dear. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like there was a time where you had a viable black man, but you forfeited that by sometime bad choices?
1,000% correct.
Oh my God.
I was married.
Right.
I was fine as hell. And I thought that I was black girl magic.
Wow.
So that's why I know the death mentality. And I thought that I was.
Go ahead, keep talking. You said you thought you were black girl magic. Keep talking, Parker.
Oh, but life and reality woke me up.
So, and listen, guys, that video from Parker, that happened about 4 years ago. I've been on YouTube now for a little over 5 years. And that happened 4 years ago. And you can only imagine how bad it is now. I call it the whole apocalypse. I came up with the term wholeflation. I didn't hear nobody using that term until I said it years ago. Me and Peaceful Life did a show talking about relationship capitalism. He called it relationship capitalism. I called it wholeflation. I didn't hear nobody else say that prior. But of course, on YouTube, you know, bigger content creators, they're still your talking points, and they don't reference you, which it is what it is, man. But imagine that level of not only psychological, physiological abuse, but then the level of entitlement to think you can come into a man's life. A man can look at you and be proud to know that you're giving your virtue away to all these men because liberalism told you it's your body, your choice, you can do what you want to do, and you still expect to get treated like a traditional woman. And Pa Connell's probably 68, old, and ain't got a man. And I'm gonna tell you something, as this whole apocalypse keeps happening, because it's about to happen, you're gonna see a lot of women guys coming up with whole tricks, trying to get a good man. Let me show you guys something, because I think my man River Vital Network is on the Sun through the Fire podcast. Hold tight.
35 guys.
And you fuck.
Now listen to what this woman said. Brittany Renner said she had 35 hot dogs, guys. 35 hot dogs, slept with 3 men in one night. This is the kind of depravity that you're dealing with now, guys. And this is the same woman that expects some simp, and there would be a simp that will marry her, to put a ring on her finger and make her feel special. And for her to say, oh, happy days, when Jesus washed my sins away. Listen, the Holy Jesus pipeline is no different than the Holy Muhammad pipeline. I call it Kakisha Muhammad. Brittany Renner was Kakisha Muhammad. That's her name. Kakisha Muhammad. Had a burqa on and all of that. You know, I've known girls that were 304s in the past, and all of a sudden now they're chased Muslim women and got burqas on. But you can't delete your past. I'm not saying a person can't change, but the likelihood of them really changing if they've been severely ran through is slim enough. Because the church world is so weak now. And I'm not saying that God can't save them, but it takes a lot of consecration and prayer and fasting to deal with that kind of demonic assault.
3 niggas in one night. But you only fuck
35 total?
35 total.
So the other 32 were spread out.
35 bodies is a lot for a woman.
Is it?
I kind of feel like it's a lot for a woman.
Now think about these silly 304s, guys. They said this gonna prove what River Vital was saying is right. This gonna prove his point. I think River Vital was on to something. River Vital was on to something. But this is what you're dealing with now. When you decide to get married now, you ain't getting nothing else. You ain't getting nothing special. This is what you're dealing with right now.
I don't think.
Brittany Renner says she got 35.
That's not even a high body count.
This heifer said that's not even a high. Can you imagine, guys, a football team been bouncing, 2 basketball, 2 college pro, 2, listen, guys, listen. If a woman been with 35 bodies, that's equivalent to 2 full squad basketball teams, 15 on the team apiece. And then an additional 5 on the side. Now I want you guys to imagine all those men bouncing up and down on your woman. This silly woman said that's not even a high body count. But these will be the same women that will expect you to pay all bills, see her as special, and wipe all that DNA off her mouth. Can you imagine the DNA these type of women wiped off their mouths and their vaginas? But they want you to take them serious for a wife. To put a ring on their finger, to see them as special, to be the mother of their kids. And some of them are old women now. They're old. They're in their 60s, their late 50s. And they got gray on their beaver. But they want you to take them serious for a wife. To put rings on their fingers. Actually, they might not have sex with a man, but they had all kinds of passionate kissing with a man, which is a form of intimacy. But now all of a sudden you're supposed to forgive them and be understanding. This silly woman said that's not even a lie. That's how wicked our culture's gotten, guys. That's how bad our culture's gotten. I feel so sorry for single men like Quiet Storm and Top Gun and other good men that made good choices. But this is what they got to deal with now. This silly woman, and I know some Gen Z, the millennials have said the same thing. They said 35 bodies ain't nothing. That's how bad our culture's gotten. I want you guys to imagine your woman on a bed with 35 men lined up outside the house. 35 lined up, and they're all taking turns. That's how disgusting this is. That's how psychologically damaging it is to have the thought of 35 men going through your woman.
To 20-year-olds, and even to my 20-year-old self, I hate how I allowed myself to just be like used up by men. And that came from a lack of self-worth. I did not understand my value that I was born with. I didn't. And I gave, again, people look at sex differently, but sex is spiritual unification. When I think about my list, it's repulsive because they didn't deserve it. But that was an outcome of me discounting my worth. And it's disgusting. I hate even having that.
And by the time she get to you, she said, now she know what her worth is. She know her worth by the time she get to you. As she had all her fun and got plowshared. Now she's gonna come to you and say she know her worth. And she expect a man to be 100% provider, pay the majority of the bills. You know, do you see how disgusting that is, guys? You tell me something in a society or commodity on the market that as it gets older, unless it's an heirloom or something of high value, it gains value over time, unless it's a mutual fund or a CD or gold. But a woman's asset is her beauty and her femininity. That's why they wear so much makeup. But you're getting older, but you still want to raise the price higher. But yet there were men in your 20s that didn't do anything. They got you for free. They didn't have to pay any money. They had to pay any bills. They got your whole body for free. They had all kinds of nasty fun with you. But now all of a sudden you think because, you know, like these lying traditional conservative women use Jesus as a scapegoat. And guys, you got to be real careful with these women coming in our spaces. You know, I'm not saying the woman can't, I'm not saying that some women are not genuine, but a lot of times they're fake. And they use Jesus as a scapegoat to make you think you got something special.
Spiritual tie in any type of way. But yeah, I would absolutely change sexually how I move around. And not even necessarily because of like the societal outcome. It's more so from my self-worth.
Like, how it makes you like feel.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good knowing that you gave a sacred part of you to a man.
Now, at least Brittany Renner understands that the body is sacred because she's right. That part is correct. She did give a sacred part of herself away. You know, she gave, you know, your body is a temple. And she gave her sacred cat away for free because the liberation movement told women they could sleep around, give their bodies away to multiple men, and then there's no consequence. And then all of a sudden, after they had all their fun, all their carnal fun, now all of a sudden, they want a sucker to come and put a ring on their finger, take care of her bastard kids, and make her feel special. You know, that's a serious drug, man. You know, you're supposed to take care of her children. Money you could be using for your own kids. Money you can be building a legacy with for yourself and your future. Even though a man will be married, a fool to get married in this current culture unless the laws change or he get a non-state supported marriage. But that's the ethos that we have now, guys. That's the nonsense that we have now. And then we'll try to shame you and sing that song, "Oh Happy Days," when Jesus washed my sins away. And once again, I'm not saying that God can't save a person. I'm not saying that. But a lot of these women, I believe, are fake. And Brittany Renner proved it. And a lot of them also are in financial need.
That looked at sex with you as taking a piss.
Yeah, she said they looked at, oh my goodness, that's bad. They look at having intimacy with you as taking a leak. Now look at this.
Money terribly. That's why she's in California courts.
Brittany Renner's broke.
$35,000.
She wants $35,000 from PJ
That's
Washington.
a month, by the way. See, Brittany
A
didn't
month.
stay in Texas. She went over to
Listen, guys, that's nasty work. These 304s are going through what's called a hopocalypse. That's nasty work. Can you imagine paying a woman $35,000 a month? I don't even know what $35,000 a month is. That's probably close to $1 million a year or more. But $35,000 a month for doing nothing. They're broke. They're broke. They're tired. Their vaginas are tired. They don't have no money. They're mentally broke. And they want a man to come and be a Prince Charming a night and put a ring on their finger and make them feel special. I'm telling you, man, don't fall for that. You deserve better. Just like she said she deserved better. Her body's a temple. You don't want to be inserting yourself in something nasty like that. Imagine all the men she's been with. All the men she's been with. Then she had the nerve to sleep with 3 at one time. Can you imagine that? All kinds of dirty things those men did to her. Can you imagine your wife, you having to think of all the nasty things that men did to your wife? And these helpers come along and I'm talking about you got to pay all bills and you got to treat her special and you got to hold her hand. After she's given other men kids and her stomach look like an oatmeal cake. You're supposed to take her special. Hold her hand and validate her.
I'm trying to touch the States this time. 2021. Yeah, show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again.
Yeah. Day and Man put several babies in her. She got a muffin top. Stomach got a bunch of stretch marks on it, but yet you supposed to come and put a ring on her finger, make her feel special. She don't want to take your last name. She can't say obey her wedding vows. She ain't gonna let you have total control over overspending. She's not gonna be submissive to you. A woman with that kind of baggage should be grateful that if any man give her a chance. But of course, they're so entitled and they've been lied to so much, they think that the average guy's beneath them.
California. Why? Because Texas has a cap on how much you can get monthly. California does not. That's why the first thing gold diggers normally do after getting a baller is move to California. But here's the problem. We already know she's going to say she doesn't make enough money to survive with her and that one child, and that the bills are just too high. Kind of like her, she thinks that any judge is about to give her roughly $420,000 a year. To do what? Go play in a corner while you give the rapper of the month gawk gawk? Not to mention, PJ's married. Like, actually married.
Imagine that, guys. You still got to pay alimony or some level of child support for a woman that's not your wife, not under your covering, and not under your protection. And the American system is so bankrupt and wicked that a woman that's not under your covering, you still got to pay for her. Yes, she's not under your covering. Imagine paying $35,000 a month, but Brittany Renner gonna still be out here thotting it up. Imagine that, guys. Imagine that. Imagine that. But yet, some of these women still expect men to get married under the current condition, not understanding that men are not against marriage. They're against marriage under the current conditions that we have. That's just a rational response. If somebody tells you if you put your hand on the stove, you're going to get hot, a fool will tell you, well, you just got to get creative and still put your hand on the stove. That's a fool. It's not that men don't want to get married. They're just afraid they can lose everything they got. And then on top of that, the economy is bad. Come on, man.
Has been for 2 years now. And considering he makes quite a bit more money due to this new contract, which I'm sure has nothing to do with her asking for more money, there's a pretty high likelihood that if PJ asks for full custody, they might just give it to him. Brittany could really be playing directly into his hand right now. Because if you go into a courtroom and say, hey, I can't...
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this other one.
Probably like...
And this is Brittany Renner there, guys. Brittany Renner makes her debut on Bang Bus. I don't even know what that is. Well, I don't even want to know what it is. I guess, yeah. But imagine the mother of your child doing all kinds of nasty, debaucherous stuff. And so once again, guys, women like this, it's hard for them to change because they're dealing with demonic bondage. Brittany Renner is dealing with something spiritual. She went from Kakisha Muhammad back to being the 304 again. Because when them demons came back, they came back to her. She probably was never delivered. They came back to a dry place seeking something to inhabit. When you deal with stuff like that, you're inviting demonic beings, spirits into your body. But Brittany Renner will be the same woman at some point talking about, she want a man to take her serious and to see her as special.
I mean, I haven't really measured them, but there was one that I did measure. Well, I kind of know what it is. I'm saying I haven't had a chance to, pull out the tape measure for all the that I've sat on. But I'd say probably the biggest was maybe 8.5. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, that thing, yeah.
Brittany Renner, you know what I'm saying? IG thought to grooming NBA players, man, and got a baby with the niggas, man. I'm talking $100 million NBA player, all-star. You get with Kevin Gates, you fake turned Muslim.
Yeah. She went from being Brittany Renner to Kakisha Muhammad. That's why I told you guys a lot of these women are two-faced. They're fake, man. They're fake. They feign Jesus, they feign Muhammad, they feign whatever. Even though I don't believe in Islam, I believe in Christianity. But they're fake, and then will try to fool you and make you think you're getting something special. That's why I call her Kakisha Muhammad.
Turned Muslim, wearing hijabs, was a fiance, whatever. And now look where you at, man. You done been to the 1% of men, doing anything for the money. And now look where you at. Doing anything for the money. Are you in the bang bus, nigga? Is Brittany Renner on the bang bus? So nothing's not enough.
And let me tell you something, guys. When I do these videos, I don't do these videos with the understanding that most of these women are going to change. I know the majority of them are not going to change. Consistent with theology, the Bible said things will get worse. So people talking about community and saying, well, I mean, look, you can, if you want to keep hope alive, and that's fine. You can keep it alive, but the world that we live in now is horrible. It's the worst I've ever seen it. And Brittany Renner is typical of a lot of women. So you're not getting nothing special. You shouldn't pay all bills unless you're a fool and you got low self-esteem. I'm not paying all bills for something used. I'm just not going to. I'm not, and neither should you.
You need more money. You are a baby mom to a motherfucking all-star.
A baby mama. All that baggage. And she won't Quiet Storm to put a ring on her finger. And then on top of that, you got to deal with the drama and the baggage. Now look at this, guys. Hold on for a minute. Now imagine if you made Brittany Renner your wife. The headache you got to deal with. A lot of these women are toxic. I mean, extremely toxic. I mean, they're extremely toxic. Imagine if you had to deal with this nonsense. And Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner and her mother got into an argument with P.J. Washington and his wife during the exchange. That's why, guys, you can't blame the 304 because, P.J. knew what Brittany Renner was before he impregnated her. So it ain't all Brittany Renner's fault. It ain't all her fault. P.J. should have enough discipline not to marry a 304. A woman with the kind of damage she got. But this is typical in America. You're not getting nothing special in the average woman now. You would be a fool to marry a woman in America without making sure it's non-state supported. I don't care what no woman say about whatever. A lot of these women want all the benefits of marriage, but yet they don't care about you taking the fall. Most women that got money and status and something to lose, they get prenups. So I don't advise a man to get married under the current system unless you want to be a pawn for the state. I'm not against marriage as in itself, but the way it's set up in America now, a man would be a fool to get married.
Okay, hold on, pause. This is what we're not doing. So every time that he does this, I'm gonna record this. Because that's not okay. I'm just letting you know.
And shout out to PJ Washington. PJ Washington used to be a Charlotte Hornet, man. But PJ, you messed up when you got with Brittany. When you got with Brittany Renner, brother, you messed up big time.
No, the thing is, this is the third time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He doesn't want to go with you. So actually,
look at her being messy, trying to cause discord with her son and the baby's father. You know, now this little boy got an attachment to his mom. And 9 times out of 10, because these women are petty, some of these little boys end up being sassy or effeminate or not having the proper coping skills. But this is why we have so many broken homes and so many effeminate men, because of situations just like this.
actually show up and do something then with him. Because he does this every time. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Listen to what he's saying. I agree with PJ. He's right. Just because y'all baby him. That's why, because a lot of these boys now that are effeminate and not masculine, because the women tend to overcollar their sons. Men don't raise, real men let their boys go through adversity. But moms, because they have that nature, they tend to overcollar their sons.
It ain't because anybody babysitting. You gonna give him his bag and stuff?
That's terrible. 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, no, it's not that at all. No, it's not. No, yeah, I will. But I'm telling you right now, every single time you come here and he cries, we're gonna record that. And it's up with me. Just know that it's up.
Wow. Look at this toxic, dysfunctional relationship. And listen, when you're dealing with people that's toxic, your nervous system will always be overly regulated. But this is the norm now in a lot of relationships in America. It's not just Black America, in America. This level of toxicity and dealing with these modern women.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you. Say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you have
Wow.
one,
Excuse the language, guys. Excuse the language.
maybe I would. Pussy ass
Hey, you
bitch.
wish I would.
Pussy ass. What the fuck you looking at?
That's on my way.
Now she's talking trash to his wife, guys. This is the level of dysfunction where you're dealing with women that got the kind of baggage that Brittany Renner has, and they go from the Hold Muhammad pipeline or the Hold Jesus pipeline. This is the kind of baggage you got to deal with, the kind of mental nonsense and the level of toxicity. Like I said, a lot of these trad-con women are frauds. Many of them are Christian feminists, and many of them have a veneer of godliness, or they use God as a scapegoat to get a man after they had all the. Can you imagine a woman had all her fun, all her carnal fun with a man, and then all of a sudden she wants you to come and put a ring on her finger and put a white dress on, where white symbolizes purity. All the men she kissed and all the men she was on her knees with, on her back with, but she wants you to put a ring on her finger, take her serious, and pay all her bills and take care of all her children and make her feel special. I mean, do you know how disrespectful that is to a masculine man? And they'll tell you what a man's job is.
Get your bitch ass out my driveway, ho.
You don't pay for shit.
Fuck you. You don't pay for shit either. $170,000 to your hoe, but $11,000.
She mad because his wife got $170,000. And guys, that's why don't put your phallus in these toxic women. But Brittany Renner wants $35,000 a month times 12. That's $420,000 a month, a year. $500,000 just for taking care of somebody's child. $500,000. That's what Brittany Hope Renner wants from PJ Washington.
$1,000 in your son's bank account. $11,000.
Look at her get mad at his wife. This is the kind of toxicity, guys, that you're going to deal with when you're dealing with these typical 304s. these typical 304s have been ran through. This is what you're gonna deal with. Okay. Yeah, Tim. $420,000 a year. Think about that. Quiet Storm said that vagina wore out and depleted. Yeah, New York said like 4,000 annually. The issues is these women don't want. Yeah, right. They want an executive lifestyle, right? Without earning. Totally agree. Thank you, Tim, for that. 35 equals $420,000 a month. But this is what you men are dealing with that are single. That's what y'all are dealing with. That's what you got to choose from, by and large. Damaged women. And so a lot of folks thought that Kakisha Muhammad had changed. But Kakisha Muhammad didn't change. Kakisha Muhammad is just giving more of the same.
Renner is back in these streets, guys. So she came back with this post called I Heard Y'all Miss Me. There she is in some tight little, I don't know if it's cheetah skin, tiger skin. The clappers are out there and they are bouncing. And not only
yeah, church is the last stop for the career 304, just like career criminals find Jesus or Allah. Yes, I totally agree. Best streamer. I agree with you 100%. And we're not saying that a person can't be genuine, but a lot of time it's fake. We know that some can be genuine, but a lot of time it's just a scapegoat mechanism. I've seen it. I've seen guys that were hustlers and drug dealers and pimps, and they use the pulpit to continue to deceive and manipulate people. Folks that have never been properly discipled. Now all of a sudden they pastors. They don't even do their responsibility when they come down to be men and women of God. And they use the church as a way to minimize their ego. Not saying that God can't save people, but it's a lot of times a con game, man.
only that, she's been posting some provocative pictures on her page. And guess who is not there?
Her son's there.
Director X. Brittany Renner, who joined Islam and then left Islam, started doing this.
Yeah. That's her name. Her name is Kakisha Muhammad. That's her name. She went from being Kakisha Muhammad back to a whole river. And most people knew it wasn't going to last long, guys. Most guys knew it wasn't going to last long. Like I said, a lot of these women got unresolved psychological issues, and some of it is spiritual too. They literally need deliverance. Because, like I said, that soul, some of them, their soul might be saved, but that box is still a sinner. You can't unredeem that box. That box is tattered. You gotta purify. You gotta practice sanctification. And even with sanctification, the damage is already done, sweetie. Yeah, you'll still go to heaven. Yeah, you can purify your heart and you can purify your body by fasting, but the damage is done. Ain't no man in his right mind that got some dignity and standards going to take a 304 series for a wife. I mean, imagine 35 bodies, man, 3 in one sitting, and you don't know what kind of nasty things they've done to her, man. And you're gonna kiss that and put your fouls in that nasty cat hole.
Please guide our voices. Let nothing that we've been through be in vain, and that whoever needs to hear whatever needs to be shared through us, through the wisdom that you've gifted us, please.
But some simp will marry Brittany Renner. Some low self-esteem simp would take Brittany Renner serious for a wife, guys. They would take her serious for a wife. Put a ring on her finger. Get on one knee, which is actually anti-biblical, because men are not supposed to bow. The Bible tells human beings not to bow to angels, so you definitely should be bowing to women. In Africa, African men don't bow to women. That's a Western construct. It's a European construct. Shout out to Paul Elam. I've said this before I heard Paul say it, never bow. But some fool will get on their knees and bow to this woman and see her as special and put a ring on her finger and kiss her after all kinds of men done all kinds of nasty things to her mouth. I think it's disgusting, man.
Use us, speak through us, and may our voices.
So within a year, Brittany Renner went from not being appreciated to joining Islam to getting married in a shotgun style wedding, then getting divorced, then meeting some Instagram.
I told you guys, most of these women guys have had sordid passes. I didn't even know she got married to Kevin Gates as a Muslim. You're dealing with damaged women. They're burnt out. The oxytocin receptors are burnt out from all that pounding over the years. You'll be like the Lone Ranger trying to have intimacy with her. A lot of times you can't please her. She got all that DNA swimming in her brain. She's confused. She can't submit to you because she's submitted to so many other men before you. Her brain is confused. Can you imagine 35 men swimming in your body? How can she submit to that? She's like Venom. Venom in Marvel Comics when she's being stretched out in different directions. No pun intended, pun intended. So how can she submit to you when she's submitted to so many other fallacies? All that DNA and the confusion in her brain and her pH and her biochemistry. But yet you got some of these bird brains that tell you to put a ring on her finger and make her feel special. Treat her special. Get married in a culture that doesn't reward men for being married. Get married in a culture where men can lose half of everything they got. Get married in a culture where there's no accountability for women. Make it make sense.
Follower, then getting into a relationship with this guy, and then all of a sudden she became a Christian.
There's no way to know this, but like in my mind, the young man's pastor came to him and was just like, "Hey, listen, bro. Listen. She ain't the one, Chief. You understand me? I had a premonition from God, and he told me to tell you, leave. Get out of there." Thank God someone came in. All right? Because, listen, I get it at the end of the day. You come across large cheeks, right? A flat tummy, right? Right. It's tough. A halfway decent face, facial symmetry. It's tough, okay? And she's because she's messed with so many men. These are the ones you have to be cognizant of. It's the ones with the mentality, the strippers, the S workers. You have to be, because they're the ones that understand how to manipulate men.
Yes,
the best.
Manipulate.
They do it because they have to do it in order to increase the amount of money coming into their bank account. It's a game that they're playing.
Yeah.
The young man was deep. All right.
Yeah. Keisha Muhammad. That's her name, guys. Keisha Muhammad, and to guys don't, and it's even worse for men that haven't had a lot of men that have never had been with a lot of women in the past. Let me show you all this 3 or 4. The men that have limited intimacy experience, it's even worse. Now look at Brittany Renner, guys. Brittany Renner said she want a good man. Now she want a good man. She want a man to pay all her bills. She want PJ Washington to give her all that money a month. She want thousands of dollars a month, guys, after she had her fun and been ran through. All thing you can do is shake your head. Bundle up Brittany. Call bundle up Brittany, bundle up DNA. She went from Keisha Muhammad. From Keisha Muhammad to Ho Ritter. And this is what our culture is now. I heard all that, all this turmoil, this some woman in Young Miami. I don't even know who that is. But she went from Keisha with a hijab on her head to being a hoe again. And that's why I say they use religion as a way to manipulate you. A lot of these women are not deliberate. A lot of them are fake. As I said before, I'm not saying God can't save people, but a lot of time it's fake. It's performative. But some fool would take her serious. All that damage. She just as crazy as a bed bug. all that DNA got her drunk.
Girl, you don't grow up now.
She got bundles of DNA. And that's why I say, guys,
Somebody come be my sister.
You can't take them serious, man. You gotta let them perish. You gotta let them perish. You gotta let them perish. Hold tight. Want to be treated special? Would you take them on $300 dinner dates? Pay all the bills. They ain't gonna cook. They ain't gonna clean. They gonna keep the house up, and they're gonna have male friends, and they're gonna still be on Instagram. That's what you men gotta look forward to, y'all single men. I would never identify myself with these goofy women, man. But let me take them serious.
No motherfucking shoe outside with the shades, bitch. I'm lit. I ain't coming home at 6. 6. Shoes off, wig crooked, mouth twisted, bitch. Stomach growling, pussy smiling.
I mean, this debaucherous. And this poor little boy, if he don't get the proper tuning from his father, will probably end up being sassy or being effeminate or being weak. That's why we got a generation of dysfunction and brokenness. Because of situations like this. Rampant narcissism too. Rampant narcissism. If men would learn, have standards and discipline, they wouldn't even look at this woman. They wouldn't even take her serious. But sadly, some men don't have standards.
Underarm sweat since I was in middle school, and I've tried everything from the deodorants to Botox in my arms, and I finally found a permanent solution, and it's called Miradry. I decided to go to WIFH, located in Atlanta, Georgia. They are the top Miradry provider in the Southeast and number 3 in the nation. Yeah, check the stats. Miradry is typically a 2-treatment process for the optimal results. I will be sharing my journey and planning my second treatment around the 6 to 9 month window. This is me officially stepping into my dream life. It's perfect timing considering now that I am acting. I won't go through 10 shirts, you know. So come with me to get Miradry at WIFH. Here is the Miradry process in 40 seconds. First things first, syringe me, baby. Get me nice and numb. And then there was that initial prick. And that was really the only thing that I felt. After that, I was completely numb. And they said that I could bring headphones, you know, watch movies or listen to music the whole time. As you can see, I chose to. Yeah! The energy was just so amazing. Their staff was incredible. I just couldn't help but talk and tell them my life story. But back to Miradry. I love this treatment because it's a triple threat. It targets odor.
Shout out to my man, Top Gun. Top Gun said, hold tight. He said that as a former manager and consultant, I will say these entertainers and athletes will always overinflate and build up these S workers. Yeah, I totally agree, man. That's why I said men got to start having high standards and this, you know, and ignore. And I think men are changing. Men are beginning to ignore women like Brittany Renner. That's why dating is down. That's why relationships are down. It's because of women like her. Hold tight.
Sweating, and hair. It's a very quick process, 30 minutes each arm, completely painless. And before I knew it, bada bing, bada boom, we were done. My name is Brittany Renner, and if you know me, you know I've been dealing with...
Look at what somebody say, from Islam to crazy. A cosplay, right? She went from From Kakisha Muhammad back to Ho Renner. She went from Kakisha Muhammad back to Ho Renner. That's why I told you guys a lot of times this Jesus, this Holy Jesus pipeline, a lot of times is fake, man. A lot of these conservative women, majority of them, a lot of them are fake. They are closet feminists, a lot of them. But you got these men telling men to get married, and but not demanding change. They won't march on Capitol Hill to change the laws for men. But they come into men's spaces feigning conservatism, feigning godliness, feigning Christianity. But their veneer is many times tied to womanism and a lot of other things. And this is what happens when boys are over-coddled by their moms. You need a balance. You got to have a balance of masculinity and femininity. Boys bring out toughness in their sons. It teaches them mental discipline and focus and fighting through adversity. And this is her mom. And that's why you men got to be careful where you put your seed at. And here's the crazy thing, guys. Some of these women are so damaged, they can't help it. Bless their heart. They got so much DNA in them, they can't help it. A lot of them can't. This is crazy. This is crazy as she can be. That's as crazy as she can be, guys. All that DNA in them, man. That's what you're dealing with now with the typical woman in dating relationship. Nothing quality. Nothing quality. Nothing quality. And you got women like Jasmine Cashmere. Like I said, guys, this is scapegoating Jesus in my opinion.
Is the power of the gospel. Former adult film actress Jasmine Cashmere says she left that life behind, accepted Jesus Christ, and now serving in ministry. No matter what your past looks like, God's...
Shout out to my man, the International Quiet Storm. He said that that boy's doomed when he gets teased in school. Kids will find this out. His mom passed transgression, but these 3 or 4 don't think about, oh yeah, you're right. Can you imagine they say, yeah, your mom was on OnlyFans, or your mom is a 304. You know how disrespectful. Can you imagine playing ball and they say, yeah, man, my dad did this to your mama? But these 304s don't think about or care about it. I totally agree. Shout out to my man, King Pure Energy. Says, what's up, coach? It's been a minute. Shout out, brother. Thank you, sir.
Grace is greater than your mistakes. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation.
Yes, he is a new creation. That's true. But he still got to reap what he sowed. And many times these same people tend to go back to that lifestyle. That's why a lot of people don't take him serious. When Paul, after he had deleted many Christians, Paul still was judged for his past. It was a consequence for what he did. And Jasmine Cashmere, I don't know, she slept with hundreds of men. And from what I've heard, she's still on media or on the internet, showing the most vulnerable parts of herself and her body. What man in his right mind could marry this woman after men did all kinds of nasty things to her? What man in his right mind would take this woman serious for a wife? But now all of a sudden she says she's a pastor.
Now, if God can transform her life, he can transform yours too.
And it's not a point of God transforming your life. It's a point of consequences, also it's a point of order.
Never believe you're too far gone for Jesus. His mercy is still reaching people today.
Can you guys imagine going on the internet and a man can just look your wife up and see all kinds of nasty things she did with another man? Imagine that.
My husband Kevin in his absence, my children.
Former adult star Jasmine Cashmere, who filmed over 100 AD scenes, has completely turned her life around. She accepted the Lord, and here's the problem: now she serves as a pastor. That's out of order. You can't serve as a pastor over men, man. You need to be properly discipled. You need to go do sanctification. And I will argue you probably need deliverance. With the amount of, I'm not saying God can't do a full restoration sometime, but it's rare. I'm not saying that God can give full deliverance, but many times he doesn't. And this woman has no place being a pastor or being a leader over men. But see, here's the problem. Look at the simp in the back. He just happened. The simp in the back just happened to know. He probably been looking at Jasmine Cashmere. But this woman needs to be discipled. But see, we have a feminine spirit now, guys, in the world. And the feminine spirit wants to usurp the order, the structure, and the authority over the man. It's a feminine spirit. It doesn't believe in structure, it doesn't believe in order, and it emasculates men.
My family, friends, close people to me that supported me in this journey, things called life.
I am going to come to you guys from Acts 3:1 through 10. Yes, I
And
was
it makes me
Christian, so.
and it makes me sick, guys, because I grew up in church. I saw it all the time. Guys that were hustlers, drug dealers, pimps. All of a sudden now they're preachers, they're pastors. All of a sudden now they're pastors. You know, many times God never calls them because the anointing never flows through them. It's performative Christianity many times. Because many times right afterward, they either go right back to it, or their works or their fruits or their ministry is not really delivering to anybody. A lot of times it's a way. Don't you know, guys, that being a pastor was a flex in the black community because many black men didn't have any power. So being a pastor was the next big thing. And many times they use the gospel or they use the pulpit as a way to deal with their vulnerable ego or egos. But this woman is out of order. Even if her life is right, she should be getting sanctified, cleansed, and being properly delivered and being properly discipled. Because the amount of pounding she's been doing, I promise you, there's some unresolved issue. For a woman to put herself through that, this woman needs therapy. But once again, the critics can say, oh, you can't say you're a judge. You're not supposed to. The Bible said judge all things. It said if you judge, make sure you judge righteous. You judge her based on the word of God. The word of God said the women cannot be pastors over men. I didn't say it. It said you can't be a bishop over a man. Women are not supposed to be bishops according to the scripture. But sadly, somebody will fall prey for this and say, okay, yeah, she's saved, and all of a sudden everything is okay.
Right. Stand for reading the word.
What do you guys think about Jasmine Cashmere? Only the black church, Tim Howard. Only the black church where they think they can hold around, and I said several times, Queen Khalil said, Jesus, yes, Queen Khalil, Jesus can redeem me. Very true, he can redeem. But also that same Jesus said, you're going to reap what you sow. That same Jesus told the woman at the well, he said, go and sin no more unless something greater happens to you. That same word says that women are not supposed to be over men in leadership. But a lot of these women use Jesus as a scapegoat to brush away their past, because those same women that say Jesus can redeem, they would never deal with a man like Andrew Caldwell, a man that loved Jesus and God saved him. He said God saved him. And he went to a woman that was a feminine woman and told that woman, I've been with men, but the Lord saved me now, and I want a wife. Most women are not going to take that man serious because women cannot have the thought of a man being penetrated by another man. And so men feel the same way. But once again, only men can't have standards. Andrew Caldwell would not be forgiven for having all those men's with a Z that he had before.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women.
They're not going to take Andrew Caldwell serious. Andrew Caldwell going to church that he's been delivered with a T on the end. And they ain't going to take Andrew Caldwell serious, man. Just like a man that got in this sense would never take Jasmine Castro. What man in his right mind, when you think about all the nasty stuff this woman has done with other men? Once again, I'm not saying God can't save a person. We know God can save a person. But women tend to conflate that God saving them means they get rest and restored in the sight of a man that wants to take a woman serious for a wife. And most men are not going to take you serious if you've been ran through. Just get over it. Just like a woman's not going to take a man serious, he can't provide. A woman's not going to take a man serious if he can't protect. A woman ain't going to take a man serious if he's been with other men. But when men say we have standards, then all of a sudden Jesus can redeem and Jesus save. And we know that Jesus can save. We know that Jesus redeems. But a man in his right mind ain't going to take that woman serious. No man that's a master man with money and status won't older, used, ran through women for wives. They don't. If he's a masculine dude that got some standards, he ain't going to take it serious. Not for wife, he's not. And that's what a lot of women struggle. They struggle. They struggle with it. Because they've been lied to, man. They've been lied to. They think they can wave the Jesus wand. And then all of a sudden a man supposed to take them serious and put a ring on their finger. You know, it doesn't work that way. Not for a serious dude. A simp, yeah, a simp. A man got low self-esteem. A man that don't mind his wife being ran through by a bunch of men, yeah, perhaps. But serious masculine men got standards. They ain't gonna take you serious with no wife. They ain't gonna pay all your bills. They ain't gonna put no white dress on you. You just don't qualify. It's okay. Just like there are men that don't qualify for women, there are women that don't qualify for men. They just don't qualify. And it's okay. And so once again, even when Amber Rose came out and said that she supported Trump, but Amber Rose still support liberalism too. Amber Rose is still a 304. So a lot of folks thought when she came out, it was conservative. They thought Amber Rose was a good woman. They thought that Amber Rose would have a whole recovery plan. $14. This is what you men got to look forward to now, guys. That's what you got to look forward to. Tats, BBLs, DNA swimming in them. How many men thought that Amber Rose was trying to do a whole reset when she became a conservative? That's why I said the traditional conservative woman is the most dangerous woman. Okay, or they can be as dangerous. Okay, the traditional conservative is two-faced, like the white liberal is two-faced. So the white liberal is closeted when it comes down to supporting black people. But a lot of time, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of time the conservative woman acts like she's a godly woman, but she's really a closet feminist, man. And they'll come to you and say they want you to take them serious. Amber Rose. All you can do is shake your head, guys. You can't delete the scoop, man. Tattoos all on her forehead. You know, when women put them tattoos all on their body, that's a sign of they're not grounded. Their nervous system is not regulated. They got all them worms in them, man. They can't help it. They got all them worms in them. They're not stable. It's not funny, but it's sad. And this is what you guys are getting now. Nothing special. A bunch of retreads. A bunch of DNA swimming. A bunch of DNA swimming in these chicks, man. And they want you to call them ladies and treat them special and be a provider male and be traditional. And pay all the bills and take care of their kids and make them happy and they stay home and live the soft life where no woman in human history lived a soft life. Women of the past worked outside of their homes, cooked meals, took care of their kids, and the men worked like dogs many times. And now it's getting like that again, where it's going to take two to survive. But they'll tell you they want a man to pay all bills, and she's not giving him nothing in return. But used cat, pre-owned cat. Shout out to my man Peaceful Life. Pre-owned cat, trauma, and a bunch of DNA in it, man. And you got to take this serious with your wife. And they'll come back at the end, like Nicki Minaj. Now Nicki Minaj, she's conservative. After she damaged thousands of girls and women, millions of girls and women with her raunchy music. But now they're conservatives. That's why I told you guys a lot of these hoes can't change, man. That's why I call it the Holy Jesus Pipeline. They don't change. They just adjust. I'm not saying they can't change, but 9 times out of 10, they're not going to change, man. It's just performative femininity. It's fake. They wear hijabs, Kakisha Muhammad. They get clergy collars, and all of a sudden now they women are God. All of a sudden now, guys, they women are God. Most of them went to Chicken George State University. Guys, get your Chicken George State University t-shirt, man. I got to put those in my merch line. Get your Chicken George State University t-shirt. I had these shirts made. But now all of a sudden they're women of God, man. Jesus gonna forget. Jesus gonna wipe away all their whole sins. And you're supposed to take them serious for a wife. Right, Tim House. She's a pastor now, you know. You're supposed to take her serious. Yeah, the problem, I mean, you working with nigga before I never knew you, man. She is disgusting with most of those corn stars. Very disgusting. I mean, nasty. Like somebody say nasty. Now, she ain't even nasty, Quiet Storm. She's nasty. She's nasty. All them tats all over her body. But you think men, you want men to take that serious. He said Christian men aren't falling for it anymore. One church had 1,000 women show up to a singles event and only 15 to 20 men. Women have almost no standards in church anymore. It's sad. Yeah, man, I agree with you. Fort Bill 72. Agree with you 100%, brother. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. She needs to read 1 Timothy 2 and 12. I'm going to find it for you. Hold tight. Hold tight. But it's performative Christianity. ChatGPT. ChatGPT is woke. Oh my, it's crazy, man. You can't even trust the computer. The computer woke. I mean, it's sad, man. It's programmed to be woke. Imagine a man supposed to labor for a 304 like this. And like I said, guys, a lot of these women are damaged. They need deliverance. They need severe deliverance. They need to be fasting and praying. You know, they need to go somewhere and sit down and get it together. But Amber Rose still thinks she got the same marriage she did in her 20s. She doesn't. As a woman ages, her beauty drops. That's why they wear fake up. That's why they wear all the makeup, because they want to cover the crow's feet, the wrinkles. You don't have the same power as a younger woman. You don't have the same power as a younger virgin than you. That's why the scripture said charm is vain and beauty is deceitful, but who can find a virtuous woman? Kanye West ran through her. All other kinds of men ran through her. But now all of a sudden she want a man to take her serious. And they don't understand that as they get older, just because they have social market value, their sexual market value is declining. And they struggle with it. They struggle with it. Because when they had a time to get the woman, a righteous man, they didn't take it serious. They struggle with it. And that's why I tell you men that make good choices never settle for retread women. Don't take them serious. The majority of them, I'm not saying you can't find a few, but the majority of them are not redeemed women. Especially in this culture now that's getting more and more wicked. I'm gonna do a show tomorrow talking about the same topic. But they get mad at me, brother Tim Howard. They get mad at me. They say they love God, but they don't love God because when you show them the scripture, they get mad. They get mad when you show them the scripture. And like I said, guys, since what I said a few minutes ago, a lot of these women have spirits in them. They have demonic spirits. They need deliverance. They need deliverance, man. A lot of these chicks need deliverance. A lot of these women need to be properly discipled. But this is what the scripture said. I'm going to do a show talking about Janelle Gooden tomorrow. It said, 1 Timothy 2:12, I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man. But she needs to remain quiet. But you can't tell these helpers nothing, though. You can't tell them nothing on Timothy Howard. They get mad at you. They'll get mad at you. This woman went through the probably was a 304. And she's a custom pastor now. This woman right here, Jamel Good. A lot of these women they are apostates. They're full of pride. They have a Jezebel spirit. Many times their husbands are weak. You got these female bishops now. All of them got clergy collars, but they ain't nothing but hyenas, man. They ain't nothing but hyenas and clergy collars. They got Jezebel spirit. They're out of order because they think their gift supersedes God's order. Your gift will never supersede God's order. That's what happened to Lucifer. Lucifer thought his gift superseded God's order. But they'll get mad, and a lot of them are former 304s. There's a Muslim saying that says hell is made of a majority of women. I'm not a Muslim. I know that there are plenty of men that go to hell, but there may be some truth to that saying. Yeah, man, could be. Quite supposed to look at Ray J goofy ass. What happened to Ray J? Because he messed with that chick, man. Let them go down there and join Lither. We all know they're all possessed by Lither. Yeah, man. These women are demonic, man. Yes, hell is hot, and I don't want to go. I don't plan to go. My man, Fort Bills 72 said they go through deliverance. You're going to see the souls of about 130 men flying. Yeah, man, they got all that DNA in them, man. All that DNA in their brain, man. You know, they got a lot of DNA inside their body, man. In all their orifices. They got a lot of DNA in them, man. They got a lot of DNA in them. But they will tell you that they'll tell you that their past don't matter. It's so delusional. Any man in his right mind knows that your past matters. Your past does matter. The only time your past don't matter if it's somebody can accept your past and it mirrors their value system. You can't think you can hold around and some man supposed to take you serious for a wife. But that's what they do. They have their fun, and then they come back after they had their fun. They've been ran through. Now all of a sudden they want a good man. They want a man to put a ring on their finger and say it's in the past and God forgave them. not understanding that it doesn't work that way. Sure, God can forgive. Sure, God can forgive your sins, but you got to reap what you sow. Everybody thought she was concerned. We got an Iron Maiden shirt on. That's why I tell you guys, a lot of these women, these conservative women are fake, man. A lot of these so-called trad cons are these ones that wear dresses and wear burqas, and all of a sudden now they redeem. A lot of them are fake. I'm not saying some of them are not genuine, but a lot of them are fake. They're still closet feminists. They still want power. They still can't submit. And even if they did submit, you ain't getting nothing special. You don't want something that the whole industry has had. You don't want something that a bunch of men have ran through for your wife. Imagine laboring for something like that. Imagine what she'll look like when she take all that fake up off. You can't raise them children. Them children will tell you you ain't that dad. Imagine dealing with this nonsense. I'm telling you, man. Once these women get ran through and damaged, man, they're damaged, man. This right here, this is demonic. That's something demonic. Look at all this dark stuff on her shirt. After she got on social media and said she was conservative, but she was voting for conservative values. Like I said, it's two-faced. A lot of these women are two-faced. A lot of them now, because the economy is bad, their value is gone, they ain't pretty as they used to be. Now they want a sucker to come and, treat them special and scoop them up, put a ring on their finger, and sing Kumbaya and sing Old Happy Days when Jesus washed my whole sins away. But anyway, guys, I'm about to end it, man. 2 hours in, man. Guys, I'm going to put this merch online. Get your Chicken George State University t-shirts. I'm going to put it online. I got another show coming up tomorrow where I'm going to review Paul Elam. And this was another good one, guys. I want to shout out to my man, International Quiet Storm, as he's the #1 sponsor. Shout out also to my man, River Vital Network. Shout out to him for donating. Guys, if you want to donate to the channel, make sure you donate. As I said, I've been gone for a while, but I've been busy, guys. I got a lot of stuff going on, man. And tomorrow, guys, we're coming back tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about this topic on tomorrow, how the church does not affirm masculinity and how some Catholics, Protestants, and maybe even Orthodox won't call out women behavior. You got pastors now, they're not going to say nothing about women being in church. They won't call female behavior out because they're compromised men. They're compromised. Yeah, he said Paula White, who famously said no to Trump, said to say no to Trump or be saying no to God. Same female that put on the clown act after her husband divorced. Yeah. They're cooked, man. Yeah, they're cooked, Quiet Storm. They are cooked. So anyway, guys, I will be coming back tomorrow. We'll be having another show at some point, and it's going to be talking about the dirty little secret they don't want you to know. A lot of these women with these clergy collars don't want to be surrendered and submitted to God. They don't want to be surrendered to anything. And it's like I say, it's a feminine spirit. It's a divine feminine spirit. We'll talk about it on tomorrow, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care of yourselves. And once again, shout out to International Quiet Storm, as he was the #1 sponsor of the stream, followed by my man, River Vital Network. So thank you guys for tuning in once again, and I will be seeing you guys maybe on tomorrow. If nothing don't happen. Y'all take care.
Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue, do ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message, and they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. A condition such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this.
The raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops. Oh, what a rain that would be. Standing outside with my mouth open wide. If all the raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops. Oh, what a rain that would be.